Hey everyone.
Oh.
Look at all you beautiful people. Hey, happy Sunday. It's the mega live stream. We're going to be doing some hits and bits. Hey Virginia, we are going to play some bingo today. That's great. If it's your first time joining us for a live stream, welcome to you most especially. This is where we improvise an entire episode based on your suggestions. If you could throw us a follow or what's it called? Sub the channel, smash that like. Always helps the algorithm. And we're gonna get right into it. Holly is looking through your Patreon.
Hi, sweet babies.
Um,
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
I'm collecting your Patreon ideas, and they're awesome. And we have room for a few more if you want to add some now.
Well, we had people wanting to check in on Ted, the Tix kid,
Okay.
the Hallie's Polish exchange student.
And Lance, right?
Check in on Lance.
Okay.
And if you do play bingo, we'll post that link here in a second. You could win a climax pin. I'll send it to you in the mail. And if you already have a climax pin, you can gift it to someone. If you don't know what a climax pin is, buckle up. How's everyone's Sunday going? What do you got, Holly? Do you want to tell the people?
Oh, the questions that we have so far?
Yeah.
One of them, I might have to just refer to my laptop, but so far we have we have the Horsemen of the Apocalypse and the Last Supper and the Drag Queens of the Olympics. Fantastic.
Great.
What book Hallie would pick to discuss if she led an online book group?
Okay.
Hallie and Gray, what Bible story particularly resonates with you?
Okay.
Hallie's daughter thinks the Olympic mascot looks like a clitoris, anatomically speaking. What's the...
It must be the Paris specific one. Let's look at it.
Oh, because it's not like the thing I always think that looks like an Audi. Like I think the Audi car.
Oh, this thing. It looks like your haircut, Hallie's haircut.
Holy shit, that's so funny. It's either a haircut or a flame or a clit. That could be a clit. It actually kind of looks like a sex toy. It looks like that rabbit sex toy.
Paris logo. Is that right? Yeah.
The Paris. Okay. The Paris.
Hi, Natasha.
And Natasha.
Ashtantansha is here.
Ashtantansha, the morality police of what college was it? Some Bible college. Ashtantansha.
Very funny episodes with Ashtantansha. Okay.
And Natasha and I have been friends for a long time. We bonded on her Mormon upbringing and my evangelical upbringing. And then I tried to get her to start drinking coffee. Turns out she loves it. I'm a good influence. Okay. And so we'll do a TED update. We'll do a Lance update. And I think there's a few more. Are there more on here?
Nope.
Because I think there's a few more on here.
I want to know what Gray and Hallie think about J.D. Vance. Cognitive dissonance alert. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about J.D. Vance.
What a good-looking young white man.
He's awesome.
I just haven't heard enough from any white guys in general, like ever. I wish they'd fucking speak up once in a goddamn while.
Hallie would never. And his choices on couches. Please talk about the Olympics. Yep. We are definitely going to go into the Olympics.
And this, I'm looking at the mega calendar. We right over our heads, we have a piece of whiteboard that just sticks to the wall. And it looks like this episode we're about to record is going to come out this weekend, the 4th. Oh, I don't want July to be over.
I know. I should adjust these a little bit.
Okay. There's one that I'm just going to read off of here. Okay. So are there any here? And I want to go back.
Can't get enough of Donovan Geo. We can talk about Donovan Geo.
Wait, what are the phrases that we have out there? Oh, and also I can ask the group. Y'all, Greg and I were talking. Who has the flattened foot of the triplets? It's Mickey, right? Mickey has the platypus foot now? Or is it Tiffer? I
can't remember.
I think it's Mickey in case.
Tiffer.
It's Tiffer? Okay, so it's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I thought Tiffer had twin pain.
July is my B-Day month. What do Hallie and Gray do for their birthdays? That would be fun. At least 2 weeks ago, it was Tiffer. Caitlin should know this.
Mickey is the sympathy
Okay.
pain. Okay. It doesn't matter. They're the same
They're
person.
not.
Ashley is putting in a vote for it's one person. You don't believe it is? We don't know.
Tiffer and Mickey and Barbie Lou.
And Barbie Lou who? And
Okay.
Barbie Lou too. Okay. So
let's do it. I think we got plenty. This will I like it when we can also keep it open-ended. Nicholas, it is not one person. Yes. Yeah, all refunds are honored. If it's a one person, we will honor the refund. If it's 3 people, you don't get a refund. You have to buy another t-shirt. CMB update, summer plans. Yeah, we can get into that. This is great. What's that place? What's the place that everyone goes antiquing in Illinois? Anybody have starts with a G, I think. Galena. Thank you, Kristen. Look at that. See, my Midwest knowledge is just falling away. Update on the daughter that wears platform docks and carries a hammer. Thank you. Yep, we'll get into that. And I just need a vest. Yeah. We got to get into the triplets. VBS plans to do skits. Yeah, Galena. We got Galena. Okay, this is great. Where'd you go? Put on a lip.
Put on a lip. Got ready. Here we go.
Let me roll it. And
I've got your back, Hess.
Got your back. Holly and I might seem blissed out. We just got back from the desert. Hey, it's 11:11. Look at that. You all, I have angel numbers right now, and 11:11 is showing up for me. Me, Greg. Don't know if I believe in any of that, but I believe in everything. Why not? Okay.
Yeah, there are definitely angels, and they're blonde.
Yep.
And they're hot, and they're ripped, and their wings are even sexy. They even have muscles in their like feather wings.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Here we go. An episode of Mega. Put on your Hallie hat.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Are you recording?
Here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, friends. If I take off my glasses, then I can't read your comments, which Greg wants me to do. So I'm doing more pure improv with him. He's like, when you start reading, you're not present. He ain't wrong.
Oh yeah, sorry. Did you?
But I read all your comments afterwards.
Yeah. Sorry, I did not post the bingo card. That is also in the live. That's in the Discord, and it's also going to be in the chat right now. And y'all should join the Discord. It is very fun in there. You can chat with a Jesus bot in the Discord. But there's the bingo card. And so grab a bingo card and let's get it. Okay, go for it.
Hiya, I'm Hallie Labont, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love to introduce you to members of our church staff, people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome Gray Haas.
Christ is nice. Let me say it twice, Hallie. Christ.
Say it thrice.
Christ.
Blessed. Well, I am so happy to see you, Gray. And, happy Olympics. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal, Hallie, but we've definitely got to get into that because
It grieves the heart.
Typically, Clay and I know I've mentioned him before,
Clay
but my
Mason
friend Clay
Bannerman.
Mason and I, we love to. Do you have allergies, Hallie?
I am pretty sniffly.
Yeah, you sound like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Clay and I usually love to get into the Olympics. I remember 4 years ago, we had an Olympic party with a bunch of our friends. We all dressed up as Greek Olympians.
That's so
We did the
cool.
whole, we did everything.
Togas?
Togas.
Oh,
Everyone was in togas. Then we did a little bit of Greco-Roman wrestling, which was really fun. Clay just absolutely destroyed everyone at that because, as you know, he used to be in the military. But this year, we just couldn't get excited about it, Hallie, because after that opening ceremony, it was just an affront, wasn't it?
an affront.
Affront to Christianity and to Christians everywhere.
Well, it was discouraging. I mean, I knew we were kind of off to a weird start when, my daughters were complaining about the polo jackets that the U.S. Olympians were wearing. They
The
didn't.
polo jackets, what are those?
Well, it's some kind of. It's a designer, Ralph Lauren.
Oh, right.
Ralph Lauren. Lauren.
I think
mean, that is such a weird name that everyone's always going to pronounce differently your whole life.
I never trust anyone with 2 first names except for Clay, of course.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Is Ralph Lauren? Is Lauren his last name?
Yeah,
That's strange.
but it sounds fake, doesn't
It
it? No
does.
one would have a last name like Laurent.
First, it sounds made up. But what were you saying?
But Labont, that's a
That's a
hearty
last name.
Midwestern name.
What was your maiden name, Hallie?
What was my maiden name? I believe.
Did you forget it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the Bible tells us that when 2 people become married, they become one flesh.
Right.
And
well, I mean, was Rice your maiden name because that's your sister's?
That's right. Well, no, because my sister is married to a man named Rice.
Right. So you completely, because when a woman gets married, isn't it awesome that you just leave your home? And you leave your family, and it's just a complete severing, isn't it, of your old identity?
Well, isn't that the truth? Also, I think those are the verses for the males. A man is to leave his mother and father.
Right.
I mean, it's in the first 2 chapters of the Bible, in the creation story, when Adam was made, in one account out of earth, and it was a groundling, 2 simultaneous groundlings made of each gender.
I wouldn't call them groundlings, Hallie.
And then in the second account, there's Adam is made first, and then Eve is made out of his bone. Now, wait, what am I talking about?
You were talking about your maiden name, which everybody wants to know, and you just won't say. And I don't understand because I don't think you've ever said it before. You've never said it before.
I just was wanting to give a real quick shout out to how awesome the Bible is, real quick, and how in that, in the very beginning, as this groundling and or human in 2 different accounts in Genesis 1 and 2 were created, how the Bible right then and there, before there are any parents, family units, anything, the Bible right then and there says, and this is why a man, at this point, this man is like shaped earth and or brand spanking new. Like, I mean, off the factory line. And by the factory line, I mean God's hands and breath. And so God makes this brand new person. And the Bible instantaneously says that man is supposed to leave his mother and his father and cling to his wife. And, a reasonable person would probably say, what's a mother and father? Because so far we have light and dark, we have day and night, we have land and sea, we've got some fowls, some beasts, and some fish, and we got 2 groundlings. What is a mother and father?
Well, don't they have the idea of father from God?
What's the idea of a wife? If wife didn't become a thing until property became a thing and owning land, which was definitely after the Native Americans, because they thought that somebody could have land in Manhattan for money.
Okay, Hallie, I just want to get back to the thing.
It's Hohag. My last name was Hohag.
Your last name was Hohag?
Hallie Hohag.
Hallie Hohag?
Hohag. Hohag. It's Danish.
Why'd you change it?
I changed it because I love my husband that much. Because when a woman wants to get married, it's so exciting to her that she's willing to absolutely uh drop all identity as if she's even been a person before and just take his identity and be like, now I belong to this one. Mrs. is just a Mister's with the apostrophe taken out. And you know what? I like that.
How do
It's
you
biblical.
it's Hohag? Hohag?
Hallie is Halle.
Oh, I know that.
Hohag is Hohag. Hallie Hohag.
Well, that's an interesting last name, and I can understand why. Yes, this is what we're talking about. A woman's identity becomes so fused with her husband, doesn't it? And it's so important. I really don't like hyphens when people do all that mess,
Oh,
because then what do you do if you've got a hyphenated name and you marry someone with a hyphenated name? Are you going to have like, it's going to have 4 hyphens, and eventually it just starts looking like, I don't know, a German word or something. Like, the kids just won't even know what their last name is.
people used to try to help me and they would be like, is it pronounced Hoeg? And I was like, no, it's Hohag. And
Right.
and they, I feel more like a Levant. I'm happy to trade
Yes.
the identity I was given the day I was born to be named after a man, and then the day I get married to change from being named after that man to being named after a new man. And you
Mhm.
know what? I feel like this is like the beauty of choice. It's like liberals want all this choice. Guess what? I got to choose my new last name.
Oh, isn't that fun?
You know what I mean?
That is
I
awesome.
could have picked. I dated a guy. We never kissed. I was part of kissing, dating goodbye, and all of that. But we did date. He courted me. His name was Mike Wood. I could have been Hallie Wood. You know what I mean?
Oh, that
But
would've sounded like Hollywood.
but see, I don't want to be associated with
Right,
that wicked
who would?
place either. So I got to pick Laban.
Wait, so you dated someone before Lance?
I did, but I did not. We didn't smooch.
You never oh, really? Okay, that's
No.
good to know.
I think we may have, like, touched hands during a Bible study, and I felt okay about that. I did. I felt like my heart was staying pure and that was okay,
Mm.
and I didn't beat myself up too much about it. Um, my mom did yell "slut" at me.
Why did you do that?
Well, she saw that I had just put my hand on top of his hand
Okay.
while we were doing a Bible study, and when my mom saw it, she screamed "slut" and then asked me a question, and she said, "Are you easy?" She asked me that in front of Mike Wood.
Okay, what did Mike Wood do?
He just sort of froze like a rabbit in a field full of hogs,
Okay.
you know?
Well, let's get back to some of the questions that our listeners have sent in, because we're sort of far afield with your maiden name, and I'm sorry we had to do that. But what we should maybe focus on, Hallie, is going back to this Olympics opening ceremony. Did you watch it, and what did you think? Because I turned it off as soon as I saw the anti-Christian stuff they were doing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Gray. I have always been really fond of the Olympics. It reminds me of being young. It reminds me of, like, waiting for the Winter Olympics, and I really liked watching the couples skate, and I really liked watching the ski jumps,
Yes.
and I thought it was good, wholesome fun, and, the Summer Olympics are so cool. I mean, I remember Greg Louganis knocking his head on the diving board.
Oh, yeah.
I
Sort of
remember
deserved that.
Dorothy Hamill inspiring a generation of haircuts, and I really like the opening ceremonies, typically just as the pomp and circumstance, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But last Olympics, I think they were over somewhere, like, I don't know, it was Japan or Korea or China or somewhere over there.
Uh-huh.
They had the Olympics, and they did, like, a drumming thing in the opening
Oh, I
ceremony.
love that.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, well, that was okay, cool. Then that was cool. The drum part was cool. I thought maybe I was worried about percussion, and I know that that really causes people to go into trances and
No,
to shake their hips and to inadvertently start shaking their hips so hard that they begin having intercourse with each other.
oh, no, Hallie. I like when they're all doing the same thing. They're all on the same team. They're thinking the same. They've all rehearsed the same thing, and there's no questioning about, oh, I'm going to go do my own thing. I like it when people fall in line like that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Well, I just thought that might have been the first bellwether, the first, twinge of an inkling that maybe the Olympics aren't God honoring,
Right.
like if I don't know, I think people over there are Buddhists and they put up graven images. They put up cats going like this, and they put up gold Buddhas and Hindu images and
Well,
stuff.
this one was even worse, Hallie, because you had,
Well, France, first, they're
France,
so sexual. It's like
and
that country is gone.
you had the horse. You had a galloping horse of the apocalypse
Yeah.
coming across the water. I mean, if I've ever seen Second Seal Broken, that was it. And Clay and I were watching, and I'm freaking out. They had a golden calf statue. I mean, come on.
That's right.
And then,
It grieves the heart of
they
God.
had a bunch of drag queens doing the Last Supper.
I can't even talk about it.
And I'm like, it's like they planned the whole Olympics just to try
offend Christians.
just to try to blaspheme. It was
to try to make us look bad and to make us mad. That was the whole plan of the whole Olympic opening ceremony.
And I'm like, okay, guys, you took 4 years to try to blaspheme, and they did. And I thought it was sick.
I think the French get off on stuff like that.
Oh, they do,
It
Hallie.
is it's that.
Look at how they kiss.
Well,
and I've heard that they do. I've heard that in France you can marry 3 people like at a time.
Yeah, and they say in France the naked ladies dance like. And the boys see it all through a hole in the wall. It's like, this is a perverted culture.
Yeah.
I mean, so of course they were trying to flaunt their sexuality in the face of, puritanical American culture, which we are proud of, that like we don't teach kids how to have sex in public schools. We ask them to please refrain from it until they're married. We look down on divorce. I'm going to say it. And like J.D. Vance says, like women
so cool.
are vessels. What did Mary do? I ask you, what did Mary do with her body? Oh, but now women are going to be like, oh, well, if I'm not, visited by an angel and informed without my consent that I'm going to be bearing, the child of a deity or whatever, I can't even. But I think we'll get to JD Vance, but he's got good ideas, I think. And I have loved being a mother, and I'm a mom with dogs.
So did you all watch?
I'm JD's kind of gal.
That's right.
Rather than a child
dogs and kids, you have
free, feline, child-free feline obsessed person.
So you all didn't watch the ceremony? You did.
Well, we were watching them, and so we're having a good time enjoying. I like the outfits that the U.S. Olympians were wearing, and we're watching all the stuff. And a paralyzed guy who can't walk, he brought the flame up in his body armor, that was walking for him. And I said, "Isn't that neat?"
Yeah.
What he needs to do is learn how to pray, because God can say, "Get up and walk." You won't need the exoskeleton. You know what I mean? But I really liked the ceremony, and then I started to get confused when I was hearing the Christian I'm going to be very honest with you, Gray. I wasn't that familiar with a lot of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse literature, and I'm someone who reads Revelation once a year. I don't think most Christians do, but I walk through the Bible every year from January 1st till December 31st every year. I do my Bible devotions, walk through the Bible. So I've read the book of Revelation upwards of, 30 times.
Right.
And I still didn't feel that familiar with the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So I had to Wikipedia that real quick, see that it was rooted in the Bible. And then like you're talking about the seals. Are you familiar with the seals in Revelation?
Totally.
Yeah. And so that they mean.
Yeah. What, the breaking of the seals?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when the angels blow the trumpet, the seals get broken. And that's the different stages of the apocalypse.
Wow. I mean, it almost sounds like Lord of the Rings. Isn't it cool that it's reality?
But what I'm just trying to find out what is going on in your household. What was
Oh,
I'm just trying to ask you, did you all watch the ceremony and did you turn it off?
well, okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I was beating around the bush and I just need to come out and proclaim it as part of my story and let this be my witness is that when I realized that the opening ceremonies of the Olympics were mocking Christians everywhere, I said, "Sorry, fam." To the whole Labont household, I said, the Olympics are off.
Oh.
We had been planning on watching them together. We had gotten a lot of different flavors of ice cream. We had gotten a lot of different flavors of popcorn. It was going to be a family bonding time. And I said, anybody who mocks Jesus is not welcome in my household. One of my daughters just threw herself down on the ground immediately and started sobbing uncontrollably.
Oh, which daughter?
Oh, the one who dropped a shot put on her foot, and now she has a platypus put. Probably won't be wearing heels for the rest of her life,
I don't
though
think
that
that one
wasn't
was ever
probably
gonna wear
likely
heels.
anyway.
Yeah.
But Day didn't care at all because my son, Day, he wasn't going to be watching the Olympics anyway.
why?
Because of this happened 4 years ago when he first started thinking critically. And I pray for you if you ever do, or if you ever have a child that does, try to think critically. I mean, whatever you can do to avoid this is what you got to do. But when he first started questioning things and turning over the rocks to see what was under everything and putting things in context and being like, Mom, do you understand the context of what that would mean in Aramaic during, the Bronze Age? And I'm like, Bronze Age? The Bible is nothing if not modern. Anyway, Day decided long ago that he wasn't going to be watching the Olympics because he thought it was this thing where America touts and flouts their imperialism. I said imperial, like Jedi Knights against the Empire. But for some reason, Day takes something like Empire Strikes Back. He starts calling the United States of America an empire. And I'm like, sorry, we're not in space and don't have a Death Star.
Well, I just
But he says it's an empire, and the empire is going over into the Olympics, and all the rich nations are flouting their wealth and how they can like pay to have these like, state of the art athletes and bring home all these medals as a like flaunting of their wealth.
Well,
And
I
was
think
like,
it's a great example
no.
of how God has rained his blessings down on America. And it's like, hey, because we're a Christian nation, look how strong and well funded we are and how we win it. We always win the most.
Look how flexible we are. Look how mobile we are.
Yeah.
Look how we land. We nail the landings.
And probably a lot of these countries are just a bit jealous, aren't they, Hallie?
Of
Because you know what?
course.
France is not going to be winning any gold medals.
Well, how can their women even run? They won't wear bras. And if they tried to run a sprint, they would just be getting hit in the face with their own breasts the whole time.
It is so true. Anyway, so it sounds like you didn't watch it, and that's what I was asking.
Well, I'm sort of sad, to be honest with you. Between you, me, and the Holy Spirit makes three. I just have to say, like, I'm kind of sad because I really look forward to it. I like watching, the Michael Phelps of the world. Although grieves the heart of God, he was trying to get people into cupping and all these Asian things. Make people worship Buddha.
He was a drug addict too.
He did like cannabis, which don't call it cannabis, buddy. It's called marijuana.
I just think that I'll probably watch some highlights. Clay and I like to watch the weightlifting, of course, which isn't actually that impressive if you think about what I've been doing lately. And we like synchronized swimming, and that's about it.
Synchronized swimming is awesome.
Oh, it is so cool.
This is the other thing that France fails to understand when they mock
like
Christ.
Organized drowning.
Is that American athletes, because we are a Christian nation, hello, we have God on the dollar. Hello, the calendar runs the way it does.
Yep.
The week starts with Sunday. Let's go. All these things, we're making such good athletes. Look at these people who can figure skate, who can high dive and all that. You know what that is? That's an example of God's excellence. You know who made Simone Biles? God. Simone Biles can't take credit for, nailing her landing or flipping around on the beam or the bars.
Yeah.
Because guess who gave her those long twitch muscles and short twitch muscles and even the like mental game she has to play. All that is God.
Yeah. And I wish they would thank God more. And the ones who thank God always do better.
Well, the gold medalists, it's the same with the Grammys. Only the real talented people get up there and first give it up to God.
Yeah, it's so true.
And anyway, but I think you might have found a little loophole where like maybe we could watch the highlights,
Yeah.
and that's not watching the Olympics, that's watching the highlights.
I just want to watch the American highlights, and I only want to watch the American highlights where they thank God and win the gold medal.
Do you not like diving? It seems like you and CMB would like diving.
Diving's all right, I guess, Hallie.
Those guys are ripped.
Not
so
really,
are the
though.
gymnasts.
They're not real. Oh, the gymnasts can be,
but that's a little effeminate, I think, of those guys to be gymnasts.
Yeah, and I just, the diving body is kind of like they don't really build a lot of muscle, and I'm really more interested in how to build muscle while also having, the fast twitch muscles and everything you mentioned.
How do you build muscle? Just from lifting weights?
Yeah, you just have to lift heavy, lift hard, lift often, and eat more than, at least 200 to 400 grams of protein a day.
Well, do you lift popsicles? Because I'll tell you what, when I had toddlers, my arms were ripped.
Well,
I had these bulging biceps. I had these cut triceps. And it was because I was always pulling a chubby baby up onto my hip.
Yeah, I do have to. Well, the other day, Clay and I had a thing that we had to go to, and the Clay's babysitter canceled. And so it was insane because Clay was just like, I'll drop him off at Donovan Geo's house. And for those who don't know, Clay has this new neighbor named Donovan Geo, and he's just so annoying. And I said, you're not going to let Donovan watch Popsicles? And he said, yes, I am. Well, I had to pick up Popsicles right up over the fence, by the scruff of his neck, and put him back in our yard because, Hallie, we got home and I don't know what Donovan thinks of as a safe environment in which to babysit, but it was absolutely nuts. We came home. There were probably 100 people in his backyard. They had a trampoline set up. They were jumping off the roof into the pool.
What?
They were playing remixes that should never be. I mean, just absolutely illegal remixes, like mashups, where it would be like a Celine Dion song into Ferry Cross the Mersey, into Rihanna, into I Believe in a Thing Called Love by the Darkness. It was just awful.
What about Black and White by Michael Jackson? I actually think that's a good song. It has a good message.
All of them basically were to the beat of Black and White. And it was just, no one should look. I have huge problems with secular music anyway, because I think you can look at any secular song and you can find a Christian song that's better, the same but better. But if you're going to play secular music, don't mash up songs like that should not be mashed up and together.
But was Popsicles okay?
No, he came home saying all these new catchphrases, which I don't
well,
like.
Of course. He's probably also walking around in his gosh darned Y-fronts.
Oh, that's the thing. We dropped him off and he was wearing a really cute sailor suit, and he came back and he's wearing his Y-fronts.
What happened to his cute sailor suit? That's adorable to make a little boy look like a sailor.
I said that, and I was like, what happened to your cute sailor suit? And he goes, I burned it, baby.
What?
And I was like, do not disrespect your dad like that. Talking to,
that's in the Big Ten. That's a commandment.
Clay. And I said, and you don't disrespect your father's friend like that.
Yep.
Because, that sailor suit was something that we both were really like, this is cool. Anyway, so Donovan Geo, it's just a nightmare. I said, hey, what do you think you're doing, bud? We're not paying you for this. And he said, I told you I was having a party. I invited you. And I said, first off, no, you didn't. I would never let Popsicles come over here while you're having a party. And I would never subject him to this kind of music. I mean, talk about at one point they were playing Fast Car mashed up with You Got to Keep Them Separated. And I was like, that's a perfect example of two songs you should keep separated.
Which version of Fast Car was it? Was it the one sung by a woman who sounds like a man, or is it the better one where it's the man singing the woman who sounds like a man's song, but now a man's doing it, and then everybody liked it better because he was white and country?
Oh, I only know the second one. I've never heard of the first one.
Okay, so it was that one, and that was mixed up with what?
That was mixed up with You've Got to Keep Them Separated.
Oh,
You
that
gotta
sounds
keep
good.
them separated.
Oh, that's cool. You didn't like that?
No, you've got to keep those separated.
Well, I thought it was so cool. I think the only mashup that ever needs to be done, so stop wasting your time, everybody, is the mashup that awesome mega church did, where they did the Avengers, Christmas service, and they told the salvation story. They crucified Iron Man. And as Iron Man was being crucified to the cross, it's a beautiful symbolic, part of that redemption story. He was singing, I get knocked down, but I get up again. Nothing's ever gonna get me down. And then they mashed up Jesus, Iron Man as Jesus being crucified. I get knocked down, but I get up again. And then the Roman soldier, the centurion who is piercing Iron Man's side, he's singing, it's the end of the world as we know it. And then
good.
I get knocked down as we know it, but I get up again. And it's the and I get knocked down. And they're doing like that.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because I think it was like an REI song or something, The End of the World as We Know It, from like, it's an oldie, but like it but that oldie in the context of like what Lucifer, Satan, and the demons are essentially trying to do to planet Earth.
Yes.
Sorry, not going to, because we already, speaking of the book of Revelation, we know who wins in the end. But anyway, that's the coolest mashup.
It is.
If you just go, so you start going, it's the end of the world as we know it.
No,
okay?
I'm not going to do a mashup with you, Hallie. You already kind of did both parts. I think people get it. I think, and I think that's really cool is that what that church did, what Twin Hills does, is we take something that Day says, oh, it's a Bronze Age text, and we make it new again, don't we? We make it relevant. And when you make the stories relevant, like when you crucify Iron Man, that's when kids are going, I don't need to watch a Marvel movie.
Oh,
I mean, the MCU is one thing. What about the THU, the Twin Hills universe?
If the opening game ceremony creative team needed a little help, guess what? They should have come to the Twin Hills creative team, because you look at what we do for our Christmas services, for our Easter services, heck, for our Mother's Day services. I mean, just for a regular weekend service. And it's going to be better than anything the Olympic opening game ceremony could ever do. And that's why I am so proud to be a Christian. And I just had to declare that. I really did.
Well, Hallie, maybe we should jump into a few more of these listener questions.
Because we can do that mashup. If you ever want to do a like back and forth, we'll do that one where you do the REI side, and then I'm going to do the walk 500 miles and I could walk 500 more.
No,
like
Hallie,
that
I'm
could
not
be a
gonna do that.
Christian song. I think it's a Scottish or Irish song or something.
If you walked 500 miles from Ireland and then walked another 500, you'd be like in Russia.
But it could be a Christian song. Like if Hillsong or anyone wanted to redo that song, it would be very transferable. You'd hardly have to change any words, because that is kind of the plight of Christianity.
Yeah.
Is that, you know what? Sometimes it feels like you're walking for 100 miles through the desert repenting. And you know what? You should be. You should be on all fours. begging for mercy
Yeah.
because we're shameful with our sin problem. And that brings me to a question that we got in our mailbag this week, Gray, which is, Gray and Hallie, what's one of your favorite Bible stories and why? And
Oh,
how do you
fun.
apply it to your life? And I think I'm realizing with this 500 miles and
I don't think that was even in that. Why are you picking that one? Because
isn't that I get knocked down, but I get up again? That's the chorus of that song.
no, that's a totally different song, Hallie. You're mashing up two songs that have never belonged together.
No, I think the verses are like, I get knocked down. And then eventually it gets to the chorus, which is, I would walk 500 miles. But then if you ever want to do a mashup with me or a duet, you would do the, it's the end of the world as we know
Hallie,
it.
all of these are pretty old songs, and I
like
don't
oldies,
really
and
know
I'm
them.
not ashamed to say it. I'm I'm a mature millennial.
Yeah. Well, let's go
Into our favorite Bible stories.
Yeah, let's go into our favorite Bible story. So what were you saying is your favorite Bible story that resonates with you?
You know what? I probably should take some time to think about it so I can give a really thoughtful answer that is like fully vetted and like everything. But I'm just my knee jerk. I'm just going to be really honest right now and say that my knee jerk, the very first thing that comes to mind is the story of Job. I just think it's such a hopeful, beautiful story where
Oh,
even,
really?
yeah, because like he got everything back. Not the kids, all his children, adult children and grandchildren were all, violently, killed in a terrible, terrible storm.
Mm-hmm.
But that happens all the time. Nashville is a very Christian city and there are tornadoes there. So
Yeah.
it's just like we're really under attack. But I just would say Job because I think it's so cool that he got new kids and that's good.
That's right.
And got to keep the same wife. Got a new business, got new cattle, got a new skin that didn't have boils all over it.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool. And I just think it's so hopeful because sometimes, you know what, Gray? It feels like we're covered in boils. It feels like, if you look at the pesky opening of the Job story, you see that, God is for some reason having a conversation with Lucifer. Like it sounds as if they're having like a regular check-in or something which is very weird. Why God would want that hideous, disgusting, sulfuric creature in the throne room of heaven, but for some reason that it's in the Bible, it's so weird. But it says that Satan and God were having a regular check-in and they were like, what's up and what's up with you? And this might sound like the WoW translation or the Message, but go with me. And God's like, you seen my man Job, how much he loves me?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing could get him to deny my name. And Satan was like, I care if I have a little fun with him. And I was like, go for it, man. It'll make me feel so good to like keep being praised, even by someone I'm like absolutely tormenting, like actual torture. I'm like taking away his business, his like prosperity, his livestock, his animals, his children, his grandchildren, like all his legacy, and then his very health. One thing I've learned, Gray, is that if you don't have your health, you don't got nothing.
Right.
So I keep your health and my health and the health of my family, my husband, Lance Laban, at the top of my prayer list. And we can get to Lance later because, it's been a hard time getting animal protein in him. But any hoodles, I'll tell you what, I just really, I wish those things hadn't had to have happened to Job.
Right.
I wish that he'd been able to keep all of his adult children who probably had their own hopes and dreams and, desires and things they wanted to express in the world and contribute to society and all that. And, they had children of their own and loves and interests and stuff. And the fact that they had to just die at the hand of Satan for God to make a point about how great he is and how people are always going to be like praising him all the time and just telling him how good he is. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You are good. You're not even so good. You're awesome. Our God is an awesome God.
Yeah.
He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. And so he's so awesome. He wouldn't do anything to hurt you intentionally. And it's not like he intentionally hurt Job,
But he did it in a way
because we have to have our test faithted.
we have
Our test faithed, our faith tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and then you know what?
I like having my faith tested and, having a bad day. I come home and I'm like totally exhausted, and Lance won't look up from ESPN.com on his phone, and I'm needing help with the kids. I'm snapping at Day. I'm, having to kick down the bathroom door to be like, what in the heck are you doing in here, you pervert? To my daughter, who just keeps riding the side of the tub as if she's on some kind of English saddle on a horse. And I just feel like, is this my faith being fested?
Your faith being tested?
Is this my faith being fested?
Why do you keep saying faith being fested, Hallie?
No, I'm
Faith being
saying
tested.
that's what I'm saying.
No, you keep flipping it.
No, I'm totally fine. I'm clear thinking. The Bible has all the answers. Jesus is the answer. Doesn't matter what the question is.
Okay.
Unless, don't goof off with me. Like I always say, Jesus is the answer, no matter what the question is. And then always, Day says, who roofied my drink?
What?
As a question. And I say, no, the answer is not Jesus on that one.
Okay, so I guess Job is your answer. The story of Job.
Totally. Well, today I might have a different one tomorrow because I'm always walking through the Bible.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, two stand out. One is definitely the story of Samson and Delilah.
Awesome.
Because for me right now, Hallie, it is just absolutely so true. Where, when I look at the story of Samson, I'm looking at a guy that is just trying to improve himself. And he's definitely trying to improve himself physically. And that is something that I think about every day, because if my body isn't strong, then I don't have the vessel I need to say the message that I have been chosen to deliver.
Yep.
My calling is with youth.
Yep.
Hopefully one day it's going to be more on the main stage of Twin Hills.
Oh, you should.
Steve
You should
has
become
told
a
me,
teaching pastor.
and I definitely will. I know Steve is thinking of that. And
Awesome.
so when I think about who do people want to see up there, they want to see someone like Samson. The other thing that I want to point out is that Samson was really busy, wasn't he? And
yeah, he
was
busy.
dating.
Oh.
And sometimes that dating got in the way of his vision for himself. And look what happened. It completely, when he was dating someone, Delilah completely destroyed his potential, because she got in the way of that. So, and I'm not saying this about Tifa, my lady friend, who I'm so into, so in love with.
Awesome.
I'm not saying this about her sister Mickey, her twin sister Mickey,
who also has a platypus foot just like my daughter.
And I'm not saying this about their sister Barbie Lou.
And Barbie Lou too.
Yeah. I'm just saying that when you get distracted, women can destroy your potential.
That's right.
And so that is why, Hallie, and I hate to announce this to the public, but, I was talking with my friend that I think I mentioned before, that Clay and I have made a group decision that we have to slow down our relationship with Tiffer and Nikki.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we just said, guys, we got to slow this down.
Were you playing with fire?
Well, we weren't playing at all, Hallie. And we were just saying, we're not going to play around with this. We take it so seriously. And we really need to see if these women are going to get in the way of, what my calling is.
Yep.
Or not. Because when you date twins, Hallie, you're kind of dating the same person. I've said this before. And
they're triplets.
And that's right. Well, they're twins with another sister who also looks exactly like. And I forgot to tell you this, Hallie. We found out something about.
Are they the same, or are they Div? Tiffer and Mickey and Tiv?
So I had to kind of pin this down because Bobby Lou has been hanging out with Donovan a lot.
Oh, it grieves.
She was at the party apparently.
Oh,
and she was. And the weirdest thing is she was dressed as a minion at the party. And I was like,
why?
This? I guess the theme was minions.
What was Donovan Geo dressed like? And did he have on pants?
Donovan Geo was not, no, he had his Y fronts on, but he was like the minion with the monocle.
Is he wearing tighty whitey white Y-front men's underpants?
He
Or are
says
these
it's a
the
bathing
kinds
suit.
that are like, oh, it's a bathing suit?
That's what he says, but it's white. It's just white.
Is it like a
underpants.
Speedo? Because that
He said
grieves the heart of God. That is disgusting.
He's-
Speedos are specifically designed, speaking of French people, to show what you got in the front and in the back.
So anyway, he was dressed as a minion, but just the minion with the monocle.
Okay.
And then he had blue suspenders attached to the Y fronts.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Anyway, so
It
you can see
just-
why I don't want popsicles around that.
Well,
But
of
what I'm saying
course.
is, so I got to the bottom of it, Hallie, and it's so exciting because I just had to say to Bobby Lou, because Clay and I told Tiffer and Mickey, like, hey, we need to slow this down. We're not breaking up. We just need to slow this down.
I think that's really hot, to be honest with you.
so. He sent
True love waits.
we sent texts to Tiffer and Mickey and told them at the same time,
Awesome.
so they weren't upset.
Okay.
And then I ran into Bobby Lou coming out of Donovan Gio's house, and I said, hey, just to check in, I'm just making sure you all are triplets. And guess what, Hallie?
What?
She said, no, they're twins, but we were in the same womb at the same time. Apparently what happened is
What?
there was, I don't know how this works biologically, but basically there was the twins, and then she was a different one.
Oh, like in a different sack?
Yeah, a different.
Placenta?
Do women have eggs?
Yeah.
So she was a different egg. So there was a split egg and then a later different egg. And then the twins were born, and then Bobby Lou was born, I guess a few weeks later or something. So I guess they technically.
Wow. Maybe their mom had 2 uteruses. It happens every day.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't want to know about that. But basically, they were all cooking in the same place at the same time, but they came out at different times. And the doctor said, I don't know what to call this, because I guess they're technically triplets because they were in there, but they're also twins with a baby sister,
Wow. I feel like I just learned more about your girlfriend Tiffer than I ever have. I mean, now I feel like I know her. Because, I've never really heard you describe her personality. I know she has, a
Oh, her
BMI of 3% body
Her
fat.
personality is amazing, Hallie.
What are her
Tiffer?
interests?
Oh, she's got a lot of interest, I bet.
Well, you
I'm
said she
sure.
can do like burpees and squat thrusts.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, she loves working out. You should see a video.
And she has a like 1% BMI.
Yep. Yeah. What does she like? I guess. I mean, this is a good example, Hallie.
Does she like being a sibling?
I think so. I mean,
Well, that's an interest.
Yeah, she loves being a sibling. I mean, she loves doing Bible study with me.
Awesome. She loves dating a godly man.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I really know her. I feel
Yes,
like that's
she's
awesome.
Awesome. But anyway, we just said, hey, we need to slow down. And
That
then
is
they
so
texted
cool.
back, that's great, because we have to get our feet have to heal.
Yeah. I mean, is the twin pain still really keeping them all, limited as long as Mickey's got that walking cast on?
Yeah, I think the twin pain's real. And I also think it was funny, Hallie, because Tiffer said when I texted her, we got to slow down. She goes, I knew this was going to happen because Mickey felt like it was going to happen to me, and I felt like it was going to happen to her. And they already kind of knew there was a little bit of, I'm not going to say trouble in paradise, but I am going to say they knew that there was going to be sort of a slowdown.
That's how twin stuff works. I mean, my sister Candy Rice had one of my morning sicknesses when I was pregnant, and we're not even twins.
Now, did Candy also have the last name Hohag?
She sure did. Candy Hohag. And, again, people, when you have a name that people all pronounce differently, it's really frustrating. That's why I like Labont. There's just no way to mess it up.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Now, I just want to offer you a word basket of encouragement, Gray, because I think you are such a beautiful example for other single men who deeply desire to be in a godly marriage with a woman who God has prepared for them, who is going to submit to you and do whatever you want. This is the cool thing that we even teach our teenagers, while they're developing physically. We start telling them ideas like, hey, guess what, boys? God is designing a woman for you. And so what do you like?
Yeah.
Do you like a woman who, let's say, looks like Barbie? Well, then guess what? God is designing her for you. He's making her exactly what you want her to be. And then once she's married to you, she knows, and you know, and God knows, and all of us at Twin Hills know, that she will do whatever you want, like on your wedding night.
And
I
this-
mean, imagine how fun that's going to be to go from 0 to 60 in one night, in one blink of an eye.
That's right.
Sex and sexuality in all of its sticky, gooey sickness
Hallie,
can go from being totally verboten and prohibited and disgusting and awful, and it will destroy your life and will get the evil one's talons so deeply inside of you, you'll never recover. But in the blink of an eye, after a ceremony and a signature, sex just went from sticky sickness to sacred, sanctified sexiness.
I know, Hallie, isn't that an amazing idea? And I have preached about this so many times to my teens. I'm sure you've seen my TikToks about it. And then, I don't like to name names, but recently I had a teen. He's a junior, Plato Papadopoulos.
Oh, I know Plato.
He came to me and said, and this is, I hate to talk about this, but he goes, Gray, I have a workaround. And I was like, what do you mean?
A
And he-
reach around?
No, a workaround, Hallie.
What's a workaround?
Well, I said, I love to do my sermon where I'm like, I basically lay out sex for everyone. And then I say, you don't have to even think about it until you're married. And Plato said, I have a workaround because did you know, and I have never heard of this, Hallie, and I thought it was absolutely sick and shocking. I guess he paid upwards of like a few $1,000s to have like he said, I found my own lady on the internet and I got it sent to me
What?
and I can do whatever I want with her.
Oh.
And it's not a sin because it's,
Wait, is she Russian?
no, it's basically like a robot. And he said, all the things that you said that I shouldn't think about or do until I'm married, I can do with this robot he named Pamela. And it's just, I guess, like some kind of robot wife that talks to him. He's like, I can program it to say whatever. And I was like, Plato? At first, I called his mom, who's so fun. And we have so much fun together.
I love
And,
Donna.
oh my gosh. Donna Papadopoulos. And,
Donna Papadopoulos.
and she, and she's awesome. I mean, she does home design, Christian home design.
Love Donna Papadopoulos.
And you look at her Instagram and it says, mother to Plato, follower of Jesus, Christian-based home design.
Awesome.
And the really interesting thing is she didn't know about it. I guess he had ordered this from some kind of thing in Las Vegas. And I said, well, you have to get rid of that right away. Even though I don't know biblically how to really reconcile it, I'm going to have to dive back into the text because I'm like, if it's causing you to sin,
cut it off.
But he said, like,
gouge it out.
It's actually not causing him to sin, it's keeping him from sinning.
Oh.
And I was like, well, I don't know. I just don't know, Hallie. It just seems sick. But I did think it was kind of similar to having a wife. There were a lot of similarities there. He was taking what I said and kind of put it into action, which he was like, this is a woman that was designed for me. And I don't have to have a real woman to do any of this stuff. It was just, I don't know how to deal with it.
Well, I'll tell you what. As a woman who I'm not a robot unless it's for Jesus, and then I'm happy to be one. I do want to come back to you know, what's going to happen in your marriage is that eventually, I know right now, Gray, you have these hormones coursing through your veins and they're making you physiologically get all revved up with these ideas of the female body.
Right.
Well, what would it be like to get in there? What would it be like to have my face, in a big set of bosoms, and
Hallie.
you picture sort of the nice perfume smell in there, and how, soft and dark it would be, and how you could sort of maybe just sleep there, like on a perfect My Pillow from that wonderful My Pillow guy. And, I'm sure you're just constantly, fighting off those thoughts as if they're bullets coming at you and you're Neo in the
Totally.
Matrix in a long, school shooter jacket. And
But Hallie, here's what I'm saying, and this is why Clay and I have tried to slow things down. It's because yes, men are going to have that challenge, but when you slow things down, when you keep that at bay, when you and I'm not going to cut things off, but Hallie, I'm going to definitely keep them separated. You know what I mean?
you got to.
Because when it's out of sight, out of mind. And so, that's what we told Tiffer and Mickey. If you want to meet at Starbucks for a Bible study, that's awesome. But right now, we're not going to be alone. We're going to have to all be together, and we're going to have to be together in a Bible-based educational setting.
That's so beautiful. That's accountability, man.
Yeah.
And it just really, brings joy to the heart of Jesus, I'll say. And I just want you to know that I think enjoy the slowing it down. Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Because you know what's going to happen once you get married is it slows down on its own. And you
really?
get to where you really don't want it. You can get there, for a birthday and anniversary if you gotta, or even to just like hit the lights and get through it. Because as soon as you do, you can go to sleep. You know what I mean? So it's just that's what's coming. After a lifetime of saving yourself for marriage and like teaching yourself that everything about it is going to like drag you straight to hell, and then trying to turn on a dime and make it the greatest thing ever, and that it's about serving someone else. And then after years of that and giving birth and just absolutely torching everything from the waist down of your body,
Hallie,
you'll get to the point where it's actually not that hard.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not think about, well, in your case, the female body.
Oh, no.
And maybe what it's like down there in her jeans.
I
You know what
wasn't
I mean?
even, oh, sorry,
Or
Hallie.
what
I
it would
wasn't
be
even
like to
talking about
jump
that.
on the back of, what she's got in the back of those jeans. You know what I mean?
No,
Those
Hallie,
things
Hallie.
that are constantly, jumping to mind for you, I'm sure.
No, none of that has jumped to mind, Hallie. I'm just talking like right now, Clay and I, we've got our goals. And when it comes to even just talking to women, having them around, we just don't need that right now.
That's why I'm excited about JD Vance, because I feel like here is a man who is interested in family values, who's interested in growing families, making more Christians, making more people to do, God's work on this planet.
And what's the whole couch thing? I just don't understand.
Well, I don't know where it comes from. And I'm afraid that where it comes from is that when men try to stay pure, when they have hormones racing through their veins, sometimes they resort to something Paul talked about in the New Testament, which is, struggling with lust in the flesh. And sometimes that lust of the flesh, it starts to manifest itself in a boy's life in a way where he takes his hand and he starts to roam down below his belt with that hand, and he gets down in there with it. And sometimes instead of a hand, what he'll do is he'll be laying face down, trying to sleep on the couch, taking an innocent nap, and he'll realize there's a crease there in the surface of the couch cushions where two cushions are coming together, and there's a dip inside there. And maybe, part of the male member, in the front of that boy's body is going to go in between those two cushions, and then it's going to start to pull it back out to be like, wait, I shouldn't do that. And then it goes back in and it's going. And the next thing he knows, he's sort of going in and out, in and out. And he's having what can only be described as an intimate marital moment with that couch.
Right. And what is a couch but a woman who talks less?
Exactly. And so if JD Vance is brave enough to say that, you know what, I've stumbled in the flesh. Guess what? All Christians are the only one. They call us hypocrites. We're the only ones who can be hypocrites because we're the only ones who are trying to be like Christ. Christ had it easy because you know what Jesus of Nazareth did not have? Couches.
That's why he had to get rid of all the beanbags at climax.
Exactly. And so I just feel like you could focus on the fact that JD Vance innocently started maybe just maybe massaging the middle front part of his body while he was face down, just trying to take a nap.
But he owned up to it.
Yes.
He owned up to it.
And that is what's so cool is that then he can say, you know, I'm not a perfect person.
Yeah.
And therefore, I can look at women who are also imperfect and go, look at you. You're a childless cat woman. You are basically, with your very life, you are taking the name of the Lord in vain because you are not doing with your body what God created that body to do, which was what? Which was pump out kids. And you know what? I'm here to say I've done it. It wasn't fun, but I mean, every mom will tell you the same thing. I'm sure dads will too. It's like, would I do it again? No, but boy, do I love these kids.
Yeah.
And it's a love that a childless woman will never know. She'll always have lesser love. And she'll never know that much love. And so her vote shouldn't count as much as a fully loved person's vote should count, because that person who's loved by children climbing all over her body and asking her to show them how to be a good Christian person and how they have a sin problem and how they can, you know, not masturbate, you know, when they come into adolescence and all that stuff. If you're not doing that, ladies, guess what? You're not only taking the name of the Lord in vain, but you're also, well, as JD says, you're miserable. And guess what is not on the fruit of the Spirit? Misery. It's not love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and misery. It's not. And so when JD Vance tells you, ladies, that it might not be fun to hear that you're miserable, but you are. And maybe that's why it hurts. You know what I mean? The truth hurts. And JD Vance is saying, but ladies, the story doesn't stop there. You know what I mean? You don't have to, you know, have these cats and fall in love with other women, you know, and end up in these lesbian communities because, you know, good and upright men aren't going to like go for a woman who isn't interested in breeding. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just feel like we're lucky to have someone like JD Vance who, so he had to, you know, pretend to be a poor kid to write a book. Well, so does Philip Yancey. Philip Yancey pretends to be a writer, you know, just to put a bunch of, you know, superlative, flowery phrases together, and, you know, basically just knock people over the head with a bunch of platitudes, you know, and he calls himself a writer. Well, could a woman, you know, without children even call herself a woman? I don't know. And we're lucky. We're lucky. Thanks, JD. Thanks a lot.
I think we got it.
I was just about to get to the Paris Olympics logo looking like a clit, babe. Okay. Do we have to take that?
Thanks, y'all.
So do we have to edit out some of that stuff before putting this in the main feed?
I have no idea.
Oh, what's up, friends? I'm gonna go back and read through the whole
Did anybody bingo?
comment thread.
You might want to just give it a listen. You.
Oh shoot, was it that scary?
Thanks everybody. This was very fun.
Yeah, did somebody win bingo?
One away from bingo. Dang.
Oh, what was
was it,
needed
Jeanette?
to get it? I want to know. Sometimes it hits me when I say things like be honest or yip yip yip. I like instantaneously have the thought like I wonder if this is getting someone bingo. Oh, Jesus and Christ specifically.
Oh, damn. I had
it.
that too. I should have done that.
Damn it.
I was gonna say my other favorite story was Jesus flipping the tables over, but we didn't get to it. Thanks y'all. That was so fun.
But that does make sense because Samson was so ripped.
That's right. And he was destroyed by a woman. Thanks everybody for joining us. That was so fun. We'll do this again probably next Sunday. You can find out all the times. We put them on the Discord and usually on the Instagram. And yeah, follow the or make sure to sub to the Mega YouTube channel. We're going to be putting episodes of Mega up there uncut and on video.
How about when Hallie had such cognitive dissonance she couldn't even say the word faith crisis? Or what was the word?
I can't remember.
Festive
faith. Festive faith.
Test of faith. Hallie spun herself right into a festa taste. I did have that thought too in the festive taste.
Hohag.
Loved Hohag. Loved Hohag. The Hohagness of it all. Oh my God.
Well, everybody have a great Sunday. This will be coming out in the main feed. And thanks for our Patreon folks. And if you want to get in on those Patreon suggestions, throw them in there. Join the Patreon. You can do a free trial. It's a great way to check it out. And yeah, we'll talk to y'all soon. You good?
You good?
I'm good.
I don't know. I'm scared. I will go back and listen to this one.
Thanks,
and then
everybody.
you can check it out next Sunday and see what we cut.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Sorry if I offended you.